was very powerful, and I would like to start off by showing you a segment of that speech, because this was the moment I got to know Mr. Carlos for the first time, the moment he spoke to the world at the World Youth Forum in front of the President of Egypt. And I would like you to, at least the first 2 minutes, to hear his speech, and then I'll give the floor to Mr. Carlos.
Your Excellency, President al-Sisi, Excellencies, participants,
dear guests, it's a great honor for me to be here today in Egypt. I've heard about Egypt and that she is the mother of the world, and yes, Egypt is indeed the mother of the world. I'm sorry, I don't speak the beautiful Arabic language, but one day I will be able to do so. I will continue speaking in English, but before that I would like to thank the Egyptian government and the World Youth Forum.
It is a great honor to stand before such a remarkable group of inspiring leaders and to represent Europe in this inspiring event. I am Sentís, I come from Spain, and I am the founder of the World Impact Alliance. Today is a dream come true. Speaking before thousands of people coming from more than 150 different countries that gather together to work to make the world a better place gives me the hope and the certainty that the world will be better in the future for all. I am extremely honored to participate in this event, and I want to say that I believe I'm speaking on behalf of everybody here when I thank the government of Egypt and the World Youth Forum for the wonderful hospitality and for the opportunity that they have brought to us. I cannot think of a better place to gather and to bring together cultures, races, and nationalities than Egypt, mother of the world and father of civilizations. Dear friends, after these days with you, I feel that deep sense of pride and hope for today's youth. And I have to say that you are inspiring, beautiful, powerful human beings that have given me so much faith in humanity. These days, I had the immense privilege to participate in one of the sessions chaired by the President of Egypt. And I want to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency for his vision not only for the world's youth, but also for Egypt and for fostering a message of peace and collaboration between all countries and cultures. But let us not forget why we are here. Today, there's millions of people that live in horrible human conditions due to poverty, war, human rights violations, and violence. And we need to do all we can to help those in need. It is true that we have incredible challenges, but it is also true that there are solutions, that we have tools that can allow us to improve the situation. The United Nations Development Goals gives us the right framework and the best compass to direct our efforts to make the world better, focusing on the 17 biggest priorities that can allow us to improve the future for humanity. And it is not the task of the governments and the countries, it is not the task of the companies, it is our role to see what we can do to improve the situation one task at a time. And believe me, there's so many things that we can do to improve the situation. We can plant up to 100,000 trees with one drone in one day. We can use AI to cure cancer. We can use e-commerce and tourism to reduce poverty. We can use recycled materials from the ocean to create a fashion brand, or 3D print organs to save lives. There are so many things we can do that we decided to create a list of 500 solutions for a better world. Solutions to tackle problems in poverty, healthcare, environment, education, and human rights, and best practices of governments and companies to get us a clear sense of what we can do to achieve our SDGs. Because there's millions of people that, just like you, want to improve the state of the world, but don't know what to do or how to do it. And now I would like to ask you what I believe is the most important question of your life. What is the purpose of your existence? What do you want to leave as your legacy? Why should you be in this planet, and why are you providing value to it? It is absolutely vital that we think of what is the biggest contribution we can provide and how can we live a prosperous and happy life that is good for everybody. I know the answer for that question for me, and I know that I want to spend the rest of my life, no matter if I live just one more day or 50 more years, to find and apply solutions to make the world a better place. It is my goal to lift people from poverty, to cure cancer, and to clean the oceans and the lands. It is my goal to improve the situation of millions of people, and I know that I cannot do anything alone without your help. And that's why we're bringing together companies and institutions and remarkable individuals just like you that want to participate to work on solutions and make things better every single day. Today, I stand before you with the clear goal of trying to start from scratch. Let us use the World Youth Forum as a new beginning for all of us. Let us make a commitment of working to generate an impact. Because you know that it is what is right, because you know that you have the responsibility of doing all you can to make things better, because you know that you can do more, and because without your help, it is impossible to achieve the SDGs. And let me remind you that you are important, so please live a life worth dying for. My father was, thank you. My father was and will always be my mentor, my partner, and my best friend. Before he left us way too early 2 years ago due to pancreatic cancer, he taught me many valuable lessons. He taught me that I had to live a meaningful life. He taught me that no matter what we experience, it is not what we can do in life to respond to our challenges. It is how we decide to live. What kind of human being do we want to be? We need to be kind and generous. We need to be patient and empathetic. We need to be respectful. And we need to acknowledge that we are no more than the others, nor we are less than anybody else. Regardless of your culture or your religion, you know very clearly what it means to be a good human being. You know very well what it is to be a better son or daughter, a better father or mother, a better wife or husband, a better citizen, or a better leader. So please be it. Be the best person you can be, and you will live forever. Thank you very much. Super President.
Very powerful speech. I could not just stop after 2 minutes. Very powerful speech, and I'm very happy you had the opportunity to hear it. And you can see one theme in that speech. It's about having an impact. Mr. Carlos is one of the world leaders in trying to help you change your mindset to have an impact. He asked a very important question in that speech. What is the purpose of your life and of your existence? And here at Galala University, we want to prepare you for the future. Our motto is, the future starts here. Mr. Carlos today will talk about impact and many different things, but I want you to what you want to achieve, what you want to do. This course, entrepreneurship, ريادة الأعمال, it's not just a course you're taking here at the university. The entire campus is taking this course. Why? Because we want you to have an impact when you leave Galala University. We want you to have an impact in shaping our country, our region, and the world. When you think about projects, every single person here will be doing a startup project, a business plan. Think about, be creative, think outside of the box what you want to do. This business plan can be part of your portfolio, where maybe in the next few years you take tangible steps towards achieving that goal. We are very lucky to have Mr. Carlos himself here on campus, and it's a true honor to welcome him to Galala University and to give him the floor to speak. Welcome.
it is a huge honor to be here with all of you. I am very grateful for the opportunity. قبل أن أبدأ أريد أن أعبر عن امتناني لتواجدي الكريمة. أنا فخور هنا وأعتقد أنني مبسوط جدا لأن يكون لدي هذا الرسالة. أعتقد أننا لدينا فرصة جديدة لنواجه التحديات دي، فأفضل مع عيننا لجعل مصر أفضل، لجعل حياتنا أفضل. كما تعرفون أنا لا أتكلم اللغة العربية، ولكن سأحاول لأتمكن منها قريبا إن شاء الله. ولكن أريد أن أشكر هذا القائد. أعتقد أنه ليس فقط وسيم جدا، ليس فقط ذكي، ولكن هو سيفعل الكثير من الأشياء لجعل مصر أفضل. أعتقد أنه سيجعلكم إنسان أفضل، ولهذا السبب أريد أن أشكر وأريد أن ask for a round of applause for Mr. Adam. I will continue in English because my Arabic is awful and I am so sorry for it. But I wanted to show you that I am actually committed to learn your language and to also try to do my best to communicate with people, because if we are trying to work in a globalized world, if we're trying to connect with each other, if we're trying to either compete in the global stage, we're going to need to know each other, and we're going to need entrepreneurial skills, and we're going to need to work together. And I think that it is such a remarkable opportunity, the ones that you have here, because you're doing the entrepreneurship course. Regardless of your career, it doesn't really matter. You're going to need it. You're going to absolutely need to create your own projects, to become your own project. The world is changing really, really rapidly. In fact, it's going to change more in the coming 20 years than in the last 200. 50% of jobs are going to change due to technological disruption, due to all the convergent crises that we're living. And the question is not only what is the impact that you want to make, but also how are you going to prosper? Because we need a life where we can also take care of ourselves and our families, and we need economic development. And for that, we're going to need all of you to be ready to face the challenges that are coming. And believe me, there are a lot of challenges coming, and I know that we all face a lot of problems, don't we? In our lives, in our families, we all have a lot of struggles, a lot of difficulties. You're making a huge commitment, coming here, learning, preparing yourself for the future. But the question is, what else can you do to make your life better, to make the life of other people better? What is the commitment and the responsibility that you assume for your life? Because we cannot take anything for granted, and please don't take these universities for granted. And the fact that they care about you, that the faculty cares about you, that the programs are designed for you to grow and to prosper, and that doesn't happen everywhere. And now, what I want to do today, instead of me talking all the time, is I would like to hear from you. And I would like you to be the ones that are directing the conversation. I may share a couple of ideas, but I would like to be addressing your questions. So if anybody has already questions, please go and start raising your hands while you have them, so I can incorporate all of that into today's session. Because I think it is much better if we talk about what you care about than whatever I want to say. Okay? So if you have questions, you go and raise your hand in any point, and I will try to stop and redirect towards what you care about the most. Is that okay? Awesome. So the first thing that I would like to say is that no matter what you're going to try to achieve in your life, you have to start from having very ambitious goals, because you're incredibly young. You have decades ahead of you to work tirelessly to get somewhere. The problem is that many times we underestimate what we are able to accomplish. We think that we are limited because we haven't done it yet. We don't have the experience, we don't have the certifications, we don't have the network, we are just not rich. And we think that there are so many people that are just lucky and they will make it, but maybe we just have to settle for less. And during my entire career, what I have found over and over again was that I was able to do much more than what I thought. And not because I am extraordinary, I am incredibly limited and flawed and ignorant. And yet, when you work for long enough to achieve your goals, you can actually achieve anything. Now, this is not to say that it is going to be easy, right? This is not to say that you want something, you envision it, and you think about it every day and you're gonna get it. This means that if you put effort into achieving your goals for a very long time, it actually ends up working. But patience is important. We, as youth, are now used to social networks and instant gratification, which means that we want things now. We want a job that gives us not only a good salary, but we want good bosses and good teammates, and we want to travel, and we want a lot of things, and it's okay. The problem is that those things are incredibly difficult to attain. And in the whole history of this wonderful country and all over the world, hard work has always been important, and no one should mistake the fact that we're progressing with the idea that things can come without effort. And you have to take responsibility for yourself. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be telling you that you deserve the world because you're nice and intelligent and great, and I do think that you are all of those things. The question is, are you the best you can be? And if not, what can you do to improve yourself? If you start thinking about yourself as a video game character, you know those games where you have levels, right? That you go up and you have these characters that are very good at defense or offense, and they keep improving, right? And the more you play the game, not only your character is better, but also you are better at playing the game, right? And what happens with that is that the more you develop your character, the easier it becomes to defeat your enemies. Well, that's exactly what happens in life and in your career. Develop yourself. They are giving you an amazing opportunity, but it's not the responsibility, it's your responsibility. You are the one that have to improve yourself every single day. And that means, do you feel good at public speaking? Well, I don't care if you do, because you have to keep improving. Do you feel good at public relations, sales, e-commerce, digital marketing, entrepreneurship in general? Are you innovative? Are you doing everything you can to catch up with all the digital skills that you need? Can you organize events? Can you design? Can you use social networks to promote brands? Because all those skills matter. And many times, they're not part of whatever program you're doing. In this case, you're lucky that you have these things and they are opening your eyes. But still, it's not their responsibility, it's yours. Nothing is going to be given to you. You are the one that's going to take it. So I want all of you to be incredibly proactive and go get the life that you want. Go create the type of life and career that you want. You remember what I said, that the world is changing? Well, every single job is going to be affected by AI, automation, and the convergence of technologies that are going to transform every single aspect of our lives. Now, this is also a great opportunity. Now, the question is, how are we going to use these technologies? How are we going to see the new trends, the new opportunities that exist in the market? And how are we going to take a space there to provide value to people? Because what happens is that when you help enough people, you can actually make a lot of money. And as I was saying before, life is not only about helping others, life is also about well-being of yourself and your families. If your physical health or your mental health is not, if you're not aligned with yourself, if you're not happy or comfortable, if you are suffering, nothing else is worth it, right? So the question is, how can we live a life of well-being, impact, and prosperity? How do we take care of ourselves? How do we understand ourselves and the pressure and psychology? How do we make sure that ourselves and everybody around us is feeling the best we can feel? But also, how do we make money? And how do we help people with that? So those are, for me, the most important pillars to build your life. I don't care who you are, you need to help others to feel good. And when you harm others, you feel bad. You may do it, but something inside of you that comes from evolution is a biological emission of a message that is telling your body, is saying, this is not the right way to go. And when you do things for the other, it's saying that it is the right thing to do. And you know why? Because we are social animals, and we need each other. We actually need society. Do you think you could live without society? Do you think you could live without the clothes and the food and the buildings and all the work of all the engineers before you, the doctors, your parents? We need each other. We just take for granted what we have. Great. I can be independent. I have everything I want. I can do whatever I want. We need each other. And so the more we think about the other, and the more we try to provide value to society with whatever venture you take on, the better it's going to be for you. Also, we're living now in a moment of what I call the impact economy. That basically every single job and every single company is going to base the activity on solving a big problem. You can see how CSR, social responsibility, was a very small part of companies. It turned a big part of communication. Now it's strategic, and now there's not a single ad or a company that you can see that is not obsessed about it. Even if they don't care, they need to care. And what happens also is that employees are changing expectations. If you could choose between making the same amount of money in a company that helps make things better and a company that doesn't, which one do you choose? It's clear, right? And the thing is, there's a lot of jobs that are to be created. So let us look for what are the jobs that we can create for ourselves. Many times people are like, well, there's not a job offer for that thing that I'm looking for. It's like, well, go create it. Have you ever gone to the company and said, hey, I can offer this. I would like to help doing this project. I think you could make a bigger impact. I think you could open this new different division. I could help you to achieve your goals and to actually use your resources to make things better. So you don't have to go to companies just asking for a job or a specific position that already exists. You can either become an independent professional, you can create a company or a startup, you can offer your services to companies, you can sell services or products online, you can connect different organizations and create transactions that can help you also prosper. There's many ways to make money, and there's many ways to make an impact. So be open to all the opportunities that exist and try to integrate them in your own career. But again, you need to start thinking, what is the end game? What are you trying to achieve? Not in 5 years. Most people, when I ask them, they think, what can I do for my next job? But it doesn't matter, because you're going to want to change the job in 1 year. I know you. You will be tired. You will think that it's not meaningful enough. Or the company will get tired of you. Or the entire industry is going to be disrupted. So you will want to change, or you will need to change. But maybe you can offer your services as an individual. Or maybe you can create something. So this is something that, if you think about it for the long term, think this is the ideal configuration of my life. This is what I would like to accomplish, and these are some resources that I have. I have friends, right? And I have knowledge, and I have the internet, which is an unlimited source of opportunity. You're going to need to upskill constantly for the rest of your life. This is not ending with university. You upskill, you have more abilities constantly. But there's one element that all of you are going to need, and I want to start with that, because if I can just leave you with one, you can focus on this one, your life is going to be better. Skills are important, yes. Education, degrees, it's all very important. The single most important thing for your careers is going to be connections, contacts. And this is not a person is connected or is not connected. It is not is an extrovert or an introvert. No. This is all of you can know people and all you can meet people to provide value to them and be available for a long time. And you know what happens when you have friends? That suddenly you have a beautiful opportunity to be here with students in one of the countries that you like the most, enjoying a beautiful conversation, and suddenly the world opens to you. Why? Well, because I was incredibly lucky to meet Dr. Adel, and also because when I was coming to Egypt, I called him first thing, and I said, "You are the first person I'm calling. I want to see you." And I had zero expectations. I didn't know what he was doing, and he gave me this beautiful opportunity. I'm sorry. He gave me this opportunity. It comes from connections. Not everything is just friends, no, not everything, but a lot of it is. I have worked in many different projects. Adel asked me to introduce a little bit about my career and who I am, and I'm going to try to be very brief, and I haven't seen a single hand raised, so I assume there's no questions. Okay, so very briefly about myself. I am the founder and CEO of WIA, which is a consulting firm that helps companies and institutions to maximize impact in a way that is profitable by better using their resources. But we have a network of 1,000 experts in 150 different countries that allow us to find solutions, best practices, and opportunities for any government or any company to actually help with education, with healthcare, or with economic development. And I've been developing several models and many ideas, but the most important thing is that we have that network that allows us to actually learn what's happening in the world, learn what good opportunities there are, and also to execute them. Having those people all over the world allows us to be certain that when we have a good project, a good idea, or something that is worth it, someone is going to be there to help us execute. And I am now serving at the World Humanitarian Forum in the board. I'm in the Organization of Young Entrepreneurs of the European Union. I have been lucky enough to lecture in 18 different universities. I collaborate with the Global Shapers community of the World Economic Forum, the International Chamber of Commerce, and I have worked personally for more than 130 large companies and institutions as a consultant or advisor. And every single one of the clients and partners that we've ever had came from meeting people. Every single time. Do you think that you just create a company, put a website, and then people go to the website? No, they don't go to the website. You can promote it, and maybe you get some people, but still they don't trust you because you haven't worked with enough people. You know how you work with people? You talk to them, you try to offer value, you try to understand what they need, and you're useful. And one thing that I see in the youth in many parts of the world is that people are not willing to work for free. I am not going to do an internship for free. And it's fine. I have worked for 14 years, and 95% of the things that I do are still free. And I think that if I can work for free, everybody can understand as well that sometimes it's not so much about getting paid in that moment, but more if you can be useful, then people are going to not only trust you, but also they're going to need you at some point. They're going to be willing to do business with you, they're going to be willing to give you money, they're going to be willing to give you opportunities, only if they think you're useful. Now the question is, are you useful? What can you do? And that's a question that we have to ask ourselves, and it's difficult. It's like, well, I see these companies, I don't think they can be useful yet. Well, let's look at that. What can you do to be useful to people? Sometimes it's just introducing a friend. Sometimes it's teaching something or mentoring someone. Sometimes people are feeling bad and you can just be there and listen to them. But please, meet every person you can. In fact, today, there's a lot of people here, and I'm sure that most of you don't know each other. You have each other, but you don't know each other. All of you should be friends with all of you. And you may say, well, but I don't like this person, or this person is ugly, or this person is mean. I don't care. All of you should be contacts of all of you. Do you know what you're going to become in the future? There's going to be ministers, there's going to incredible leaders, there's going to be entrepreneurs, there's going to be just human beings that either will need something or will be able to support you. And not using the opportunity that you have to meet them, to meet the faculty, to meet people that come, to go to events and meet more people. If you're not doing that, someone else will, and they will take all of the opportunities. So improve yourself, try to improve the world, and connect with people. That's the most important thing that I can leave you with, and I will start with the questions now, okay? Thank you very much.
Before we go to the questions, 2 points. First of all, yes, 95% of the time is working for free, but those 5% where it's not working for free are replacing all of the effort. So you make some effort and you work, but then this 5% you make a lot of money. Am I correct? Yeah. So you have to sacrifice. I'll give you another example that I remembered when you said that is Naguib Sawiris. You all know Naguib Sawiris. He makes per year maybe, let's say, 20 investments, and he knows that 16 investments will fail. But those 4 investments that don't fail, replace and make those 60 that he failed worth nothing. So sometimes you have to be out there, meet people. I think your point about network is crucial, because it's about who you know and who you're networking with. It's not always about what you can do. It's who you're with. You're in the right place, in the right time. Luck plays an important role, but you need to be ready when the opportunity comes for you. You need to be ready. What Galala University is doing is preparing you that when the opportunity knocks on your door, you're ready. You cannot suddenly, once the opportunity comes to you, prepare for it. If you're not prepared, then it will pass you and you will not be able to take advantage of that opportunity. So everything you said today is very, very, very useful. And I'm really looking forward. I know many of you guys have questions, so we'll start off. And I know almost everyone here wants to ask something, but start with you. He's one of our top students in the economics and political science program. So I'll let you start with the first question. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Mohamed Dimeri. I'm in political science with Dr. Adil. The question is, what challenges did you have to overcome at the beginning of your journey?
Thank you very much. It is a very important question. The challenges are always the same. Because you haven't started, you don't have a lot of experience, and you don't have the confidence, and you don't have the context. So in the beginning, it's very difficult when you're looking for either clients or employers, because, well, you basically don't have anything to show them, right, that you have done. Unless you have it, because you can do something about it. And that's where what I was telling you comes in. Because if you are already talking to people, and you are already expanding your network, if you guys go on LinkedIn and crush it every single day, and add every person in the universe that is important for you. If you talk to people, if you go to events, if you do those things, you're already in a much better position. That's for starters. And I didn't know that, so I had to kind of figure these things out. I just didn't know what was going on. I had these really cool ideas. I talked to people, and they said, "Who have you worked for?" And I thought, well, I haven't. But why does it matter? I can do it. If I don't do it well, don't pay me, but I can do it. I promise. I've been working on this for 2 years. And they didn't care. So what I did was what I called portfolio operation. Which was, you know what? I'm gonna have a lot of cool logos there. So whenever anybody asks me if I have the experience of who have I worked for, I will have already worked for them. So the first job that I did for a large company, I contacted on LinkedIn to a communications director of a company. She answered. I was able to have a meeting. I offered what we did, and she didn't care. And I said, you know what? I understand that you don't care, but I want to do it anyways. And so what happened was that she hired us to do one video voiceover. But she didn't give us money. So she allowed us to do it. And I paid for it. So we worked on it. I paid to the guy that did the voiceover, to the video editor. I did things myself. And after spending $500, we have already our first big client. Fast forward 10 years, is 130 of those. Some paid, some not. But I hacked it, right? So that was an important one. The second thing that happened was that I didn't know that I was able to talk to these people. Like, what is the right level, right? Is it manager, director, CEO, president of the universe? Like, is there any space that I should move in? Because I'm a student. Well, maybe if you're useful, you can talk to whoever. Maybe the problem is that you're not useful yet, but you can make yourself useful. And if you are useful, if you know more about, let's say, new technologies than the people that you're talking to, doesn't matter if they're right. You tell them, hey, there's this crypto thing, or this blockchain thing, or there's this application of AI that can help you with your supply chain. I don't know. You're useful. But if you are, doesn't matter who you're talking to. And one of the things that is very important is what is called sales. People think that that's like low level, right? Because salespeople are annoying and they call you and they're all over the place. Well, we are all salespeople. When you're looking for a job, you're selling yourself. When you're telling your boyfriend or girlfriend to go to watch one movie, you're selling. When you're a kid and you're asking for candy, you are selling. Your entire life is selling. I am selling you ideas right now. And we're selling big investment. And we're selling all the time. Every day of your life is actually selling. The problem is that we don't talk about selling. And one very important thing is to train. What does it mean to train? Well, there's a process, right? First of all, what can I do that can provide value to who? Who do I want to talk with? How do I connect with this person? LinkedIn, email, event? I just figure out where this person lives and I go and stalk them? I don't know. But there are ways to reach out to people. So first, what can I offer? To who? How can I contact? And then the most important rule that you may not know, that works for any entrepreneur, any business person, any politician, is follow-up. Do you know what follow-up is? Anyone? Okay, follow-up means that you tell something to someone. You say, hey, I can help you with this. And what happens is that they forget. They don't care. They don't answer. And then that happens also with women as well. You may look for a girlfriend and you tell her and she doesn't say yes and you're married already, right? So follow up. 80% of sales transactions are made after the 10th follow-up. So you have to talk to someone 10 times until you get anything. I can give you examples. For example, in order to speak in an event that I wanted to speak, I first applied to attend to the event, and I couldn't. Then I added the responsible of that in Spain, and she accepted. We had a coffee. I helped her several times for free. 3 years after, she invited me to attend. 2 years after, I was speaking in the event. Just 5 years. You see, so I could tell you every client I had not only was based on connections that I made, that were there. I went and I said, hey, what's your name? My name is Carlos, I can help with this, and whatever you're doing is amazing, and I want to learn from you because, in fact, I want. But if you don't follow up like crazy, and if you are not okay with the fact that life is going to be full of rejection in your entire career, if you're not okay with rejection, if you're not okay with hard work, if you're not okay with patience, you're dead. I'm sorry to say, you're going to have a really miserable life. You're not going to have the partners you want, the friends you want, the companies that you want to work for. You're not going to be able to make a single impact in anybody's life. Because you know what you need to do? Push very hard and follow up like mad. I'm sorry. I didn't invent the rules, but when people are trying to tell you something, you first don't respect them, right? Or you don't know them, or you don't trust them, or you don't care. Most people are not going to care, even if they should. Sometimes you have the best possible solution for someone. You have the best thing in the universe. Do you guys think that having the best product means that you're going to have the best position in the market? Yes or no? Being the best makes you the most successful? Yes or no? No, it doesn't. The people that speak the most in events are the people that speak the best and say the best things, or the people that are better at positioning themselves to speak in places. No, sometimes, there's things that are correlated. Okay. Not always. People assuming that if you have a good music video, that's gonna grow, if you have a good product you're gonna sell, is wrong. And thinking that that is the case, it's gonna frustrate you so much because you know what? The world is not fair. Well, we know that, right? The market is not fair. Politics are not fair. Love is not fair. Relationships are not fair. Nothing is fair. I mean, we strive for it, right? And we try to be fair. We try to be compassionate and empathetic and kind, and we try, when we have the opportunity to make a decision, we try to make it fair. Unless we don't, or unless other people don't. So, the challenges that I faced, I keep facing them all the time. And now, for example, we're starting to talk to companies and institutions about the solutions that we've been building for 3 years. I started 1 month ago. Already was 20 meetings, 7 proposals. Maybe none of them work. Some of the proposals that we write are 40 pages long. May not work. You know what my plan is? I'm going to present this thing to at least 200 organizations. So I do at least 70 proposals, and I don't even know if they're going to buy it. I'm going to try. If you go for 10x more, right? You say, this is my ambition for the long run. I appreciate every single thing that I have. I am grateful for the things that I have, and I am going to be happy no matter what, because I am not going to allow whatever anybody thinks or says about me to influence my happiness. But I'm going to do my best. And that means I'm going to talk to more people and try to see if they respond positively to the message, if maybe I can improve what I offer, improve the way I offer, or just talk to more people. Until you start closing things. And you know what happens then? The thing that was the biggest challenge, suddenly is your biggest advantage. Because everybody sees your portfolio and it's like, whoa, I want to work with this person. Or if you have already done cool projects, you know about cool stuff, if you can show that then, or if you know the right people, then you start calling. And even if you don't know the right person, you know someone that does, right? And you can ask them, hey, and you know what happens in that case as well? Sometimes you call a friend, he says that he's going to make a connection, and we don't do it. And you know what they do? You follow up. Hey, I'm sorry I am annoying, but I need to talk to this person. So 2 things can happen. If people get annoyed, you have to be the judge of, are you being fair? Is it important enough? Are they, your friends? Do you really care about them? Do they care about you? Because there's a distinction between the people that you actually love, it's not the same your family, your wife, or whoever, than people that treat you without respect, right? And I have faced a lot of rejection in my life. Every time I go to an event, if I'm the speaker, I'm cool. And people are like, oh, I want to talk with this guy. When I'm not the speaker, which happens a lot, I go and every time there's a speaker, I come, hey, I like what you said. And they don't even look. Sometimes they don't know who you are, or sometimes they don't listen to you. Fine. If someone is not respectful to you, you know how you respond? Being the bigger person. You're always respectful, you're always kind, and the more you grow, the more humble you become. Because you're all going to become something. So the more you grow, the more successful you are, the humbler you become. But anyways, you have to push. And you have to distinguish. Sometimes I just have people that I admire and I love and they are friends and I would do anything for them. And sometimes I see people that I consider to be contacts. You can't be friend of 5,000 people with equal level of relation, right? So, how did I overcome the challenge of not having experience or trust or contact? Push, hack, improve yourself, provide value, talk to people, and never stop the follow-up. Was that useful? Thank you.
Wonderful answer, and very comprehensive. If I may also just emphasize something about what was said about adding value. Adding value as a person, but also adding value in whatever endeavor or startup you're making. The most powerful startups are startups that add value to society, that, like you said, solve a problem or add something. Don't think, what startup will make me money? It's the wrong mindset. What startup will add value to society? And immediately, if you're successful, you make a lot of money. So that mindset, it's not only, okay, I want to make money. Everyone wants to make money, but if you are thinking about a startup or a business idea that will create value, that's the right mindset. So it's not always about value as a person, but also in whatever business or startup. So when you're doing your business plan for this course, think about something that will add value to society or for at least your environment. It doesn't have to be on